So this is going to be a recount of my 2025 Iron Butt rally. I'm probably going to do it in like 4 different videos here. Video 1's going to be getting into the rally, what that took, the preparation behind it. And then the other 3 videos are going to be a recount of my rally, broken down into the individual legs, leg 1, leg 2, and leg 3. So stick around and we'll tell you about my Iron Butt rally. They'll send out a email to the Iron Butt Association Premier members first. So if you want to get in, that's the best way to find out when it's going to happen. And normally, like I said, we get about 1.5 years notice from the time the email goes out. You put in an application, and then you're selected. Not too complicated of a process, but you need to have long distance riding experience and hopefully a couple of rallies under your belt. Like I said, this year we didn't get the notice. None of us, it was actually assumed that the rally was dead. We got an email about 1.5 years ago that basically stated that the people who were running it were officially stepping down, that there was issues with insurance. So none of us thought it was going to happen. It was kind of quietly died, and everyone kind of went about their lives. And then sometime before Christmas, I can't remember the exact date, an email comes out that, hey, the Iron Butt rally is back on for 2025. Paul Tong had figured out the insurance and figured out what he needed to and stepped in and had taken the reins of this rally. So at that point, we put in our applications. And basically it's just, your riding history, what certificate rides you've done, have you participated in any rallies, and then the biggest part I think is they ask you just an open-ended question of why do you think you can do this, or why do you think you deserve to be in this, and that's kind of on you to decide and to come up with the reasoning. And I had my own reasoning, and I had a couple of rallies under my belt, a couple of certificate rides, and I put my name in the hat. And about 2 or 3 weeks later, I think, we got the email that said that we'd been accepted into the Iron Butt rally. And at that point, it was game on. I had a laundry list of things to figure out, some of which were basic requirements from the Iron Butt Association or the Iron Butt Rally. MedJet, you had to have an insurance policy that basically if you crashed or had an accident somewhere, that they would airlift you home. On top of that, you had to carry maximum insurance on your motorcycle, maximum deductible. Basically, they want to make sure all of the bases are covered in case something unexpected happens. And then on top of that, I had to get my bike ready. There was quite a few modifications that I've been wanting to do to it over the years to help facilitate longer riding, more efficient riding. 2 of those items were auxiliary lights and auxiliary fuel. So soon after I got accepted, I placed my order with Lincoln Seals to get me a custom tank. And then on top of the custom tank, which bumps me up to, so my main tank is 5.8 gallons plus the 5.2 auxiliary tank takes me up to 11 gallons, and you're allowed to have 11.5. or 11.4, sorry. So it puts me right underneath the allowable limit, which I'm fine with. I didn't want to push it any closer than that. So I got that tank ordered, and I also ordered up a set of Denali D7 Pros. And I'll show you those now as well. So with both of those items, those were the big ones I wanted to get done before the rally. Extend my fuel range and extend my visibility at night. And with those two things, it made riding at night and riding extended distances a lot more comfortable and a lot more safe. The lights alone, I don't know why I waited so long to do them. I should have done the lights years ago. So between the upgrades, I added a tablet. I added power for all of it. I did the basic maintenance I've been wanting to do. I did a valve adjustment. I tore the bike down, did valve cover gaskets, did cam sensor O-ring gaskets, adjusted the cam chain tensioner. I did every little thing that I thought I could do to optimize my chances of the bike making it. And that includes new brakes, new front rotors, obviously an oil change before I left, and new tires. So with the tires came a complicated decision. Standard motorcycle tires will not last, at least a rear, will not last the 11 days, 11,000 miles that the Iron Butt Rally, the abuse that it's going to put on it. So you're kind of left with two options. Option one being changing your tire at checkpoint 2. So, and this is going down the rabbit hole, but at that point you have to make the decision of either buying a new rim and having a tire pre-mounted and balanced for when you get there, or mounting and balancing a tire in the parking lot after riding for 5 days. And neither one of those options really sounded appealing to me, kind of mainly due to cost and the time it would take to do a tire swap. It just wasn't making sense to me. So option 2 is doing what they call going to the dark side, and that is putting a car tire on the rear rim of your motorcycle tire. And it's up for debate. Everyone's got their opinions on pros and cons, but I'll tell you from my experience, because that's what I went with, there's some oddity to it on the highway, some uniqueness that you have to get used to, but as far as safety and performance, I don't think there's a compromise. And that's my opinion. Everyone's got their own opinion, but I will tell you, I put the car tire on, I ran the whole rally, and there is still plenty of tread left. And I would do it again. On future rallies, I will run a car tire on the rear. It just makes sense for me. Everyone's got their own opinion. Do whatever you want to do. Do your own research. So bike maintenance is done. Tires are mounted. I'm getting test rides in. I've got my fuel cell mounted. I've got my lights on. Really the next big thing, and this is where I started to neglect things. I was not as prepared as I should have been with routing. I kind of kept putting it off. I know the basics of it. I can put together a route. I can figure out timing. I can do all of that, but I wasn't as prepared as I should have been to solve a puzzle, which is a common occurrence in Paul Tong's rallies. With the Founding Fathers, with the Boom Towns, with the aliens versus humans, there was always seemed to be a layer of complexity that needed to be deciphered, or a puzzle that needed to be solved to be efficient in these rallies. And I was not prepared for that. I did what I could, but honestly, I wasn't working on routing until probably 2 weeks before the rally started. So I felt going into the rally that was my weak point. that I just wasn't as prepared as I should have been to do routing to solve a puzzle. Like I said, I could do the routing. I could go point A to point B to point C and figure out timing and figure out mileage and figure out points. That's not overly complicated to me for the system I use. So I gathered everything. I did individual bags of food, so tank bag foods for every day of the rally. I'll insert a picture of that here. I tried to figure in about 1,800 to 2,000 calories of tank bag food a day. The other thing with Paul's rallies is he's known for making meal bonuses mandatory, or maybe not mandatory, but he offers you enough points where the only logical thing to do is to stop and take the meal break. So I counted on about 500 to 800 calories per meal per day from my rest bonus, and then the rest of my calorie intake was going to be out of my tank bag. And again, I'll insert another photo of kind of what I took, and it was kind of standard for every day. I had my caffeine, I had my peanut butter, I had jerky, I had trail mix, and I had electrolytes in the form of liquid IVs. And I highly recommend those. Electrolytes on a rally this size, you have to have them. So I got all that laid out, I got it all bagged up, and I will do that again. That saved me so much headache and so much time. I could reach into my saddlebag every day and pull out a new bag, throw it in my tank bag, and that was my everything I needed for the day. So no going into gas stations, no eating gas station cheeseburgers, although I did at one point eat a gas station cheeseburger. We all have issues. We all have addictions. It was good. But it saved me having to go into gas stations and deal with nutrition. And it also meant I could keep an eye on my calorie intake for the day. So I would know at a glance by looking in my tank bag, how much calories I've consumed, and that would kind of give me insight into my mental state. And that's checks and balances that we'll go into as we discuss the legs and how I dealt with the issues or problems that showcase themselves along the way. So yeah, we had 6 months to prepare. I know it sounds like a lot of time, but it's not. In hindsight, I should have done more sooner. But I got it all done, and I wasn't missing anything. I had everything I needed. Even took an extra. I took everything I needed. There wasn't anything on the rally that I did without, and there was very few things that I brought that were wasted weight and space in my saddlebags. So I'll put in a couple pictures here of the bike loaded up, of some of my gear. And then it was time to head off to the rally. It came up very quickly. The days ticked by very fast, and next thing I knew, I was in Coralville, Iowa. Or Iowa City, I will refer to it as, because I can't pronounce the name of the town we were in correctly consistently. So we'll kind of end it there for this first video. And then leg one will kind of consist of getting to the rally and the events that occurred during leg one. Thank you for watching. Hopefully this is useful for some people. I know watching everyone else's videos over the years has been a huge help to me, so I'm hoping this can contribute to someone else's success in the Iron Butt Rally. So thanks for tuning in, and stay tuned. We'll have leg one video up here very shortly.